Hello everyone, it's Melanie here with Vintage Hill Studio. I'm so glad you dropped by today. I have an adorable Valentine's Day card featuring this little panda. So cute. I started with some prepackaged cards and envelopes from Michaels. I have a couple of nested heart dies that I'll be using, as well as this little balloon die by Spellbinders. And this is the stamp and die set by Mama Elephant for Hampton Art. It is so cute. When you're working with pandas, it makes your job so easy for card making because what are they generally? They're black and white. So I'll be using my VersaFine Black Onyx ink, which does a really nice job of giving you a deep, dark black color. I'm putting that on a little acrylic block and I'll give him a good stamp, and look how cute he is. So that's it for the panda. See what I mean about easy? Then I'll take the coordinating die and I will get that put down and run through my Sizzix Big Shot die cutting machine, and look y'all, I have new cutting plates. I've had these sitting around. I just was reluctant to open them. I don't know why I have to use everything until it's like on the death march. But I finally got rid of my old beat up cutting plates, and I feel like I have a new die cutting machine. That really does make a difference when your cutting plates are worn out. Okay, the only coloring I need to do to this little guy is add a little blush. There's not that much going on with the panda, so I decided to add some little rosy cheeks just to finish him off. And he's looking cute. And I had so much fun, I went ahead and stamped the other figures that are in the stamp set and cut those out with the die. And you can see that little envelopes from there too. So there are my balloons ready to go. I just used 2 reds. There's the little envelope. And I'm going to bring over my Spectrum Noir red blend marker just to give these balloons a little shading down one side. So again, the little details do make a difference. This is such a simple little card. I don't mind taking the time to add some little elements like some shading and highlighting. I mean, you can see it takes no time at all, and I think it does make a difference on your cards. This envelope is just tiny. But there is my little element of added detail for the week. I'm telling you, there's not much to these cards. I'm using a white gel pen to highlight that little heart on the envelope and also add some highlights on my balloons. Okay, so back to the nested hearts. I've got a gray color, then a red and white polka dot, and those will go on front of this card front. Oh, by the way, these cards are 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and they have this coordinating red envelope. So a really nice little card set. I'll be turning this to the landscape orientation for this week's card. And you can see how all of this is going to start fitting together to finish up our card today. Get this put together very quickly. And then before I adhere this to the card front, I want to go ahead and add my panda and all those little balloon elements. So to start with, I will just get my 2 die cuts put together here of the hearts. I'll smush that around a little bit with my brayer. And then I'll bring over the star of the show, that cute little panda. Kind of arranging the balloons where I think I want them to go. Yep, that's looking pretty good. So I'll start getting some of these elements put down with some liquid glue. Alright, I brought over a little bit of embroidery thread. I wanted to use the embroidery thread because it's a little stronger than regular sewing thread, but it's not quite as robust as like twine. And you can see how tiny these balloons are, so I was trying to stay in scale with what would be coming from a balloon of this size, and that's why I decided to go with the embroidery thread. Now I'm just going to get this attached to the front of my card. It doesn't matter that it's not coming out of these background balloons because that's not going to show when I add my 3rd balloon in the forefront. So just get your strings down. I've got 2 strings coming out there. It's going to go behind his little hand. and then I'll start working on this one that is going to go in the front. So I'm going to add my thread here and set this aside to dry just a little bit, because I'm going to wrap that around the bottom of the balloon when it dries. So while that's drying, let's move over and get started on putting our little panda bear down on the front. Now you can see I added liquid glue all across the back of him except for the hand that will be holding the balloon strings. I left that up on purpose, and I'll show you why here in just a minute. I get his little Valentine envelope, connect it there directly to the front of the hearts. And then my glue should be dry on my third balloon. Yep, it's looking good. So I'm going to take a little foam tape, and this will do two things for me. It's going to really secure that thread that I've already glued onto the back of my balloon, because again I'm going to wrap this around the bottom portion of the balloon a few times, and I don't want that to come loose. And then I'll take that little tail and put it back up onto the back of that foam tape. Now that should really secure my thread. Add another couple of little pieces of foam tape to the back of this balloon, and I'll be ready to get that put on the front. Just moving right along. I've had this stamp set for a little while. I think I got it at Joann's a few years ago, and I haven't really used it very much, but I came across it and I thought, hey, you know, this would make wonderful little Valentine's Day cards, even though it's not a Valentine's set. By adding the little heart balloons, I think it just ties it all together and lends itself very well to a cute little card for Valentine's. Okay, I'm going to add just a little bitty piece of foam tape behind this hand that I left up, and then I will adhere those 3 strings to the front of his hand, and of course when this dries that will not show. So we've got him holding his little balloon bouquet and the little Valentine is in his hand, and we're ready to get that put on the front of our card. Again, you can see I rely on my grid mat so much. So when I'm trying to center this vertically and horizontally right on the front of that card, I will use my grid lines here to help me out. Now, hearts tend to lend themselves very well to centering because you've got that concave part at the top of your heart, and then you have the point at the bottom. So just anything that makes our lives easier, let's go for it. Here is the sentiment from that Mama Elephant stamp set that says, "You're the cutest," and he really is a little cutie pie. Get that put on the front of our card, and that does it for the Valentine for this week. Now if you hang in there with me till the end of the video, I'll show you what I did with those other 3 pandas. I made another card because I was having so much fun with this. Thank you so much for subscribing. If you're new to the channel, please feel free to become a new subscriber. I have a little subscribe button here on my YouTube channel in the right hand corner, a little red YouTube subscribe button. If you're looking from your phone, it will be next to where it says Vintage Hill Studio in the description. If you're interested in any of the supplies, you can hop over to my card blog. I have a link at the end of my video for you. It is not a hyperlink, but you can plug it in and come visit me. So happy you dropped by, and happy crafting, everyone!